The economy of South Korea is a highly developed mixed economy dominated by family-owned conglomerates called chaebols. It is the fourth largest GDP in Asia and the 10th largest in the world. South Korea is known for its rise from one of the poorest countries in the world to a developed, high-income country in just a few generations. This economic growth has been described as the miracle on the Ha River, which has brought South Korea to the ranks of countries in the OECD and the G20. South Korea still remains one of the fastest-growing developed countries in the world following the Great Recession. It is included in the group of next 11 countries as having the potential to play a dominant role in the global economy by the middle of the 21st century. South Korea's rigorous education system and the establishment of a highly motivated and educated populace is largely responsible for spurring the country's high technology boom and rapid economic development, having almost no natural resources and a high population density in its territory, which deterred continued population growth and the formation of a large internal consumer market. South Korea adapted an export-oriented economic strategy to fuel its economy. And in 2019, South Korea was the 8th largest exporter and 8th largest importer in the world. Bank of Korea and Korea Development Institute periodically release major economic indicators and economic trends of the economy of South Korea. Renowned financial organizations, such as the International Monetary Fund, have complemented the resilience of the South Korean economy against various economic crises, citing low state debt and high fiscal reserves that can quickly be mobilized to address any expected financial emergencies. Other financial organizations like the World Bank describe Korea as one of the fastest growing major economies of the next generation along with BRIC and Indonesia. South Korea was one of the few developed countries that was able to avoid a recession during the global financial crisis, and its economic growth rate reached 6.2% in 2010. A sharp recovery from economic growth rates of 2.3% in 2008 and 0.2% in 2009 when the global financial crisis hit. The South Korean economy again recovered with the record surplus of $70.7 billion United States dollars mark of the current account in the end of 2013, up 47% growth from 2012, amid uncertainties of the global economic turmoil, with major economic output being the technology products exports. Despite the South Korean economy's high growth potential and apparent structural stability, South Korea suffers perpetual damage to its credit rating in the stock market due to the belligerence of North Korea in times of deep military crises, which has an adverse effect on the financial markets of the South Korean economy. Moreover, the dominance of chaebols, which has also been seen by many South Koreans as highly corrupt and influential in the political system, is unlikely to last and engenders risk of slowing down the transformation of the South Korean economy for the benefit of future generations. Following the Korean War, South Korea remained one of the poorest countries in the world for over a decade. In 1960, its gross domestic product per capita was $79. The growth of the industrial sector was the principal stimulus to economic development. In 1986, manufacturing industries accounted for approximately 30% of the gross domestic product and 25% of the workforce. Benefiting from strong domestic encouragement and foreign aid, Seoul's industrialists introduced modern technologies into outmoded or newly built facilities at a rapid pace, increased the production of commodities, especially those for sale in foreign markets, and plowed the proceeds back into further industrial expansion. As a result, industry altered the country's landscape, drawing millions of laborers to urban manufacturing centers. A downturn in the South Korean economy in 1989 spurred by a sharp decrease in exports and foreign orders caused deep concern in the industrial sector. Ministry of Trade and Industry analysts stated that poor export performance resulted from structural problems embedded in the nation's economy, including an overly strong won, increased wages and high labor costs, frequent strikes, and high interest rates. The result was an increase in inventories and severe cutbacks in production at a number of electronics, automobile, and textile manufacturers, as well as at the smaller firms that supplied the parts. Factory automation systems were introduced to reduce dependence on labor, to boost productivity with a much smaller workforce, and to improve competitiveness. It was estimated that over two-thirds of South Korea's manufacturers spent over half of the funds available for facility investments on automation. With the coup of General Park Chung-hee in 1961, a protectionist economic policy began, pushing a bourgeoisie that developed in the shadow of the